Generation is defined as only grandparents, their generation, or even parent generation also. This came to my mind because it's not a joke. It came to my mind because today many families are nuclear families. Joint families are almost gone. Nuclear families are on, and we are not looking after our parents. We are not. Our children are away somewhere doing their jobs or studies. How many of us are caring for our parents? How many of us are caring for the children? It's a mutual question. It's a question that could be that has both sides. So either parents or grandparents. Luckily or unluckily, we are away from them, and we are somehow detesting also, frankly speaking. But how are we here? Is it young generation came on its own? Can it exist on itself? Is it traveling on its own? Is there a beginning there? Was there a past there? Where to start? All these are the questions that come into the minds of the scientists, not only the scientists but also social scientists. The debate comes on when we think of the validity of a generation that is passing on. Ups and downs, they have their own vicissitudes in life. They experienced it all. Which is good, which is bad, which is continuation. When we put this question to ourselves, we have to remember one thing. Life is a cyclic process. It will be continuing to change and go on and going on. Evolution, our social circumstances, societal conditions, our scientific conditions, the changing advancement of technology, whether it's fast or slow. It was once slow and now today is fast. To take a decision, it used to take some years or some months also for people of the older generations. Now we are quick to take decisions. We are multitasking these days. What is the reason? It's not the reason. The reason is not that old people are older and they are outdated, etc., etc. But because we have some other reliable source that is called technology. We have technology and have 5-digit salary and 5-day week and luxury. These things are available these days. I cannot think myself as someone who is very well equipped and then unbridled freedom cannot be entrusted to me. I am answerable to the society, to the family. I am a custodian to the society and to the family. I am not myself unto myself. If this is the truth, then how the younger generation can call itself more practical? I am pondering on the word practical. That is pestering me since yesterday. How they are practical, more practical than the older generation. I am not defending anyone, because life is, it keeps on changing and it keeps on going and it has to go and evolution should be there and later generations should come and tomorrow this present will become past tomorrow and something better comes up day after tomorrow. So this is a evolutionary thing. They are keeping all these things in mind. I would like to hear from the panel how they want to defend themselves and how they want to prove themselves to be more practical than the older generation and how they testify themselves in the test of this discussion. So I welcome the panelists. I would like to know their names again so that, okay, Sanjya is welcome, Ashwini, Mangababu and Amrita. Okay, a wonderful team is there. We would like to see how they go on and how they defend themselves and how they want to establish themselves to be more practical than the older generation. And if they are more practical than the older generation, we welcome them very much. And how they are going to lead the next future generations also. I would like to hear from them. Let us all wait this event. Thank you. Conduct a very good session here at Sri Prakash. Thank you.
A very good morning to everyone present here. This is Amrita, and the given topic is younger generation is more practical than elder generation. Before starting that, I would tell that we need both the generations in this practical world. As we know, the history of world is the history of few great men who had faith in them. So both the generations, younger generations are more practical. Why we say this? Because this is the age where they are broad-minded. And they are very fast. They take it to the mind, whether either positively or negatively. If we consider in the positive way, I'll come forward with an example. The example is about Deepika Kurap. Recently, this has happened in America. Actually, Deepika Kurap is from Kerala. She once, when she's visiting, she saw a girl drinking stagnant water, which is contaminated. Then she thought for a while. With the experiments and experiences of the elder generation, she kept them into the practice and she discovered a solar powered water jug. And this was presented for 5 minutes in America. She got first place in that. Really, with the blessings of elder generation, she got it. What I say from this example is, we actually need both the generations. Elder generation may not be capable of putting them into practice, but they are very broad-minded. They think a lot. If they, how they think is their thoughts before putting into the practice. They think my thoughts will bring a good output or it will create a disaster to the society. If we consider the younger generation, no. No, few may think, but few who are very fast, they don't know what they are. If they misuse, again it becomes a disaster. So we require both the generations in this present society. And one more thing, I come up with second example of Lal Bahadur Shastrigar. What he has done is, through his journey to Varanasi in a train, the platform is very deep for him as he is a short stature. So what he did, he got down, he started digging it. Everybody started laughing at him. Why, what a foolish thing he is doing. But after that, after 1 hour, other fellow passengers joined him in the work. So what he says is, don't instruct others. Don't completely depend upon others. Keep in mind about the execution. You should put the task on your own shoulders. So I say both the generations are required for a better future. And I give chance to my friend Ashwini to tell her views.
Thank you, Amrita. Good morning, everyone. Our topic is younger generation is more practical than older generation. It is actually difficult to compare the practicality of two generations because the environment in which they have grown and lived up are two different things. The technology has been changing from time to time. The only thing in the world that persists is change. Time to time, the technology has been changing. In this fast changing world, younger generation has a luck that they have a advanced technology which is not available to the older generation. This made them more practical when compared to the older generation people. Let me take the example of Carlsen, recent world chess champion. He defeated Viswanathan Anand, who won it for 5 times. So Carlsen is a practical nature man. For that purpose, he defeated Viswanathan Anand. But the older generation is having a history which was very interesting and useful for the youth of today. The younger people also should follow the instructions and experiences of the older generation to get their success in their life. Let us take an example for this is Thomas Alva Edison. He is also a very practical natured man. He didn't completed his education, he stopped it in 5th class, but his practical way of thinking made him to remember up to this day. Still we are remembering him because of his practical nature. That means we have to follow the advices of both older generation to get success in younger generation. We need both mutual independence for our development. That's it. I'll give chance to Sandhya.
I have a doubt whether you are defending yourself or you are sailing on the same.
Because we need both mutual independence for our development.
That comes to be a conclusion, but you have to put your stance on either side. Okay, your standpoint must be clear. Okay, practicality will be there everywhere. It's a changing perception, it's a changing concept. Still, and what you want to project here, that should be much more clear.
My conclusion is, here my point is that younger generation is more practical than older generation because of this developed technology. That's it. I'll give chance to Sandhya.
Good morning to everyone. Myself Sandhya. Today given topic is younger generation is more practical than the older generation. Let me tell you about the older generation first. We know a common quote that old is gold. In the same way, the younger generation people or the youngsters are the living stars on the earth. It means old gold is great, but stars are shining. They come up with a new ideas. We are using the pathway of the older generation. They always come up with a new technology and fastness, accuracy is everything is because of the older generation. Not if they are very accurate. I give you an example. They want to settle in a life very fast, and they want to come up with a good ideas and very more than other. I want to defeat one other. They have the spirit of winning and the spirit of defeating. So they can come up with very fastly none another. They can come up with more examples. Here I will say an example, live example. Today everyone is leaving engineering and joining in a diet. They want to settle in life. They want to settle in government sector. They are not believing in the private sector. It means their state of mind is changing by day. So youngsters want more and more in their life. So we want the technology is improving today. So as the technology is improving, the youngsters also is improving a more. Yesterday I saw an app. It is SOS. Before this we can't find the technology that SOS. Today we can find the technology SOS. SOS means it's an app. If we are in a trouble, if girls or women are in a trouble, if we switch on that app, okay, it will it will send a message to 5 members. So help me with an app. How it is it with a very exact location? You can find out exact location there. So it is very easy. So how much technology is improved? It is all that because of the younger generation who are following the older generation pathway and advances. Thank you.
A different perspective.
Thank you, madam. And very good morning to one all present here. And today's our topic is younger generation is more practical than older generation. I am more comfortable to accept this sentence because youth is more practical. Because if we see the potentials of youth will be very high, and on the other hand, if we see the persons, the older persons or old generation, they will think that youth tend to commit mistakes, and they do not realize what the present situation is going on. But the youth is more youth can adapt to the technology very easily, and if we see the potentials of youth, we should realize that they will achieve something. Because here I would like to give an example to potential of youth, that Mr. Usain Bolt from sports. He is an athlete of Jamaica, and he achieved 100 meters race in 9.63 seconds, and he sets 3 world records in a single Olympic game competition. So we can conclude that the youth is more potential. And if we see some other examples from the politics, I would like to mention his name, that Mr. Akhilesh Yadav, the present Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. He is the youngest Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh at the age of 38 years. And why I have mentioned him here, that his excellence in solving the religious crisis during his ruling now. And so I would like to go to the another field to represent the practical thinking of younger generation, that if we go to the movies field, means cinema field, if we see the generations to generations, there will be so many differences. Like nowadays, the trend and the situations of the stories were very realistic, and the heroes are also going to change their trends, like they are getting 6 packs, 8 packs, something, and they are increasing or decreasing their weights basing on the role they have to play. So they are more experimental, they are more practical than the older generation, I think. And I would like to say one more